Hello, everyone. My name is Kristian. I don't know how many know me, but I hope I know many of you. Hello, Raja. Today I'm going to tell you a story about me. It's a story about how to accelerate and how to slow down, how to speed up and how to brake. For my entire life, I have been relating myself for work. I started working when I was 7 years old. Back then, it was called something else. Today, it's a child labor. Times were different. I thought when I do more work, I'm better than everyone else. If I'm faster, I'm better. My father was and still is a construction worker. More precisely, he's a carpenter. And boy, he can build stuff. I was so jealous when I was small because he built everything. Literally everything. And as many of you, I wanted to be exactly like my father. Two months before I went to high school, I realized we will have a new class called computer science. It was about computers, and I knew that computers had screen and buttons, and I had absolutely no idea what to do with them. I went to library, and I took every book I was able to find, read it through during this summer, and understood that this is fascinating. I was completely hooked. When I went to university, I started working full-time as a software developer. A year later, I was a project manager. Half a year later, I was a product manager. I had an entire team, a huge product. I was selling like crazy, and I was going to have university classes full-time in parallel. Everything was great until I realized something was really wrong. I was diagnosed some serious health issues, and I didn't know what to do about it. What I realized is that quality doesn't equal quantity. I was so blinded to the fact that I was working all the time to think that I did something what was not really what I was thinking about it. This changed my life. My doctor prescribed me to take things easily. I didn't know what does it mean. I just took a year off from university and reduced my workload. In 2004, I went to work for Playtech. It's the same company in Tartu. Back then, it was really mysterious. No one knew anyone really who was working in this company. The only thing what people know about Playtech was that on the elevator in Plasco, the same building in Tartu, had just one sign next to 7th floor. It was said Playtech. I knew that if I wanted my CV to be reviewed, I needed to have 2 friends who will recommend me. But I didn't know anyone who was working in Playtech. And I was spending a lot of time to find out who were these guys. Eventually, I found 2 friends who recommended me. I was hired. Playtech was, I don't know about it right now, but it was a very different company. It was all run by Israeli army. Everything was a mission. You accomplish your mission or you go home. It was said to me every day. I accomplished a lot. One thing I learned, and what was told me when I was working in Playtech was that you never make big plans. It just doesn't make any sense. You only concentrate on things what will happen soon, and you don't think about things what will happen later. This allowed company to be really dynamic. What I learned is that dynamic is good. The other thing what was told to me many times is that you need to make decisions. I was typical Estonian. I was thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking which decision is the right one. I was told constantly, you make a decision, because in army, if you don't make a decision, your platoon will die. If you freeze in combat situation, everyone will die. If you make a wrong decision, you can always change it, but if you don't make a decision, it's a bad one. What I understood is making a decision is a good one. I don't need to think about it, whether this is a right one or wrong one. Life is about perspective. Sometimes you need to zoom in, sometimes you need to zoom out. 11 years went really, really quickly, too quickly. I realized I have spent half of my adulthood working in one company. When I started in my teams, there was only 2 people. When I left, there was 150. When I started, our department generated nothing, absolutely nothing. We just spent a lot of money. When I left, we earned for the company 9-figure numbers. It was quite a jump. I left in 2014. Playtech was big, slow, and really exciting company, but I felt I wanted to do something else. I knew that whatever will excite me will be something where I have possibility to make wrong decisions, fail, and feel that I learned something during it. I found Startup World. This sounds really crazy, but I really liked it. I see many faces I saw back then, and it's really good to see that you are still here. When I left Playtech, Playtech was just unicorn. Skype was unicorn. Estonia was doing really great. I remember the last day I was working for Playtech. I left, I closed the door, and I woke up next morning. I had absolutely no idea what to do with my life. I realized something what was really different is that when I met someone and they asked me, "Who are you?" I said, "My name is Kristian." And they said, "No, this is your name. Who are you?" And when I asked them, "Who are you?" they always said, "I am a product manager at company X. I'm a project manager at company Y." People tend to identify them through the companies they are working for. But I didn't have any company anymore. I was doing absolutely nothing. I was embarrassed because I didn't want to say I'm ex-Playtech guy who is not working anymore. So I thought it was a joke. I told everyone, I'm the guy who's trying to figure out how to do nothing and enjoy it. Absolutely nothing. And I didn't understand it back then, but now I know it was something really important. Time went by, and I met my co-founder, future co-founder back then, Trine. We started a company called Nevercode. Was I smarter? Did I know something more than I used to know before? Hell yes. I thought back then I was the smartest guy in the world. I knew exactly everything because I went through the hell I called Playtech, and I was ready for everything. I was so wrong. I was really, really busy. Not just really, really, but really, 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 really busy building Nevercode. A startup I thought will change the world, like you all do, with your own companies, of course. I was like chunky. I really enjoyed. I felt I'm back in the wheel of whatever you call it, but I really liked it. But I was exhausted, really exhausted. I didn't slept, I didn't eat, I was building a startup. But this is what those heroes do in Silicon Valley, right? They work 100 and 150 and God knows what numbers, crazy numbers they're working in a week. We tried to be exactly like these guys. And we failed. One night I was driving from the office to my home. And I don't know what really happened, but when I realized my car was destroyed, completely destroyed, there was an accident. And I don't know still what happened. I survived without any scratch. It could be it was luck, maybe it was an angel, maybe it was a destiny, I don't know. And without any arrogance, I would say I don't care. I knew that I was saved, and this changed my life third time. One important thing I realized second time is that I have limits. When I was younger, I thought I'm limitless. I can do everything. I don't need sleep. I don't need anything. I can do everything. I was wrong. I have limits. I realized it second time in my life. I started sleeping. I slept every day. How many of you slept well today? Raise your hands, please. Quite a many. So these guys who didn't raise your hands, go home and sleep. Do it every day. Sleep. Doesn't matter, it's 6 hours, it's 8 hours, 10 hours, just sleep. Because sleeping is an answer for everything. It solves absolutely everything. When I and Trine were building Nevercode, we did what many of us would do in this situation. We worked like crazy. We tried to be the best. We tried to be number one in our area compared to competitors. And it never succeeded. It never succeeded because every time we looked closer, we saw that we are still biting the dust. We are still bits and pieces of whatever was left from big companies who are much better funded, who are much bigger and much faster. So one day we decided that there's nothing else to do. We probably will close the company, but before that we will sit and think. Because that was the last thing we thought makes sense. I think it was the smartest thing we have ever done. Because we sit and realize that when you sit, you can hear things. You can listen things. And we listened. We listened to a small voice whispering that something is changing. And we listened good, and we understood that no competitor is listening to this voice, but we do. So we said, we have nothing to lose. Our company is basically gone. We don't have anything important yet to do. So we will push everything through this voice, to do what this voice said. And we were not mentally ill, I would say this, just to be sure. What happened is that a year later, we landed a contract with Google, And not just any Google, it was Google headquarters in Mountain View, California. What was important is that we need to listen. Take time and listen. If we don't listen, we don't hear. A year later, we left the company, successful company we built with Treen. Why? Because it was time to do something else. It felt back then as we took the puppy we have been raised for a year and throw her out, closed every door and every window and just said, we don't care. It was an awful feeling. But if we look it back now, it feels like you see your own child just walking around, doing their own stuff and having fun. And it's great. Company still running, well built and well run by new management. You need to slow down, whatever you do, whatever you build. If you rush, you don't listen, you're not thinking, you're not making any decisions. Decisions are being made for you. If you rush, you copy whatever others have done, you copy whatever you have been told is right to do, and mostly you do it wrongly. This is natural. Don't let fear stop you. To conclude, I see we have time. Don't waste time. Just make right decisions. How slow building means for me, very quickly. Make a right product before product right. Don't think too much, start doing things. Intuition is really, really important. If you take time, if you slow down, you can hear things, you can understand things, and you know what is the right decision you need to make. Listen to people. I don't think we are customers and non-customers. We are all people. Listen to people. Remove everything and focus. Adding is as important as removing. You have a task list. Get rid of it. Delete everything what is not important. How do you know what is important? Take 10 things you have in the top of the list, delete 8 of them, leave only 2, and do it again till you have only one thing what is important. Keep direction. It's very, very important. Whatever comes to your life, you have the sight where you want to go. Keep going. Have someone to paddle with. This is from one of my favorite books. If you want someone to paddle with, just ask great guys to join you, and they will. And it's much fun to do things together. Have a story. Think about why you do things, why you build things, what is important, and to whom you are making it. Just slow down, listen, and have fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristian. We have time for only one question, but I have received 5. So
okay.
I'm going to ask you, choose a number, 1 to 5.
Audience, what is the number?
3, they said it first.
They said 3. Let's say 3.
3.
Yep.
How are people who already work full schedule day just to get the money so they can barely live are supposed to have the privilege to live freely?
It's a good question. I think it's all about timing. You have to think about when is the right time. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be 10 years from now. But when you take it slowly, you know when it's the right time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.